I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're talking with Tyler Lopez. He is a real estate powerhouse and the author of The Best Way to Do Everything Wrong. Turn a mistake into a masterpiece. This transformative book challenges conventional wisdom and shows readers how to turn failures into stepping stones for success. With real-world insights and actionable advice, Tyler empowers readers to embrace risk, redefine success, and turn their biggest mistakes into their greatest opportunities. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And don't forget to download the Spotlight TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Yeah, hi Logan. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here to share a little bit about my story and my journey, and it's become so much more than a collection of words. Yeah, it's a guide, it's a mirror, even a little bit of a wake-up call. And yeah, my goal is always to leave readers feeling challenged, inspired, and deeply curious about what they're truly capable of.
Making mistakes is part of the journey towards success, don't you think?
100%. It's a recognition of where you're at in life to either figure out if you're doing something good or you're doing something wrong. But the truth in all of it is the real fear isn't being noticed. It's giving people nothing worth noticing.
Yeah. And sometimes your greatest successes are a mistake as well. Like you step into something you don't realize is wonderful, you seize the opportunity, and then later on, like, wow, this is really a great opportunity. I didn't really realize it had all this potential.
Absolutely. People often focus so much on avoiding mistakes that they miss the real lessons. The title says it all. The best way to do everything wrong. I want readers to see that doing things wrong is often the first step to doing them right. It's not about finding the perfect path. It's about building the courage to walk your own. Because, I mean, really, remember, no one notices nothing. And that's the first action step, is doing something bigger than you.
I liked one of your quotes, learn how to live broke and you'll never be poor, and or something along those lines. And it's very, very true. If you learn to get by with limited means, you'll never have that great fear of failure either, right?
Absolutely. So the big concept behind that is how to be frugal, how to let a dollar last, but it also teaches you how to run a P&L. So a lot of things in later in life and business, you didn't put a lot of focus on, and it wasn't your major part of your business that you needed to develop, but at some point you have to. And I've seen a lot of people get to that point and start spending a lot of money to make money rather than knowing how to be resourceful with their business and their own P&L to figure out where that money might be best spent, or is it better not spent at all? Growing up with not nothing, but being able to be very resourceful with not only the people that you're around, but the people that you talk to and spend your time with, that becomes so much more important in running a business, that you might think you're going backwards, but that's when you actually know when you're really, really winning and you're succeeding and you're at the top.
Absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about your success in real estate and the journey you have followed there.
Yeah, and this book has a lot to do with my real estate journey because the principles that I've seen a lot of very, very high level people have make that the understanding for people to come and work for them. So as a real estate agent, I'm hiring and firing, getting fired every year, every week, every month. I mean, so a lot of those struggles and ways to navigate real estate really just have to be focused around something that gets you through to the next day. So things like never make permanent decisions on temporary emotions came from my success in real estate, of being able to be centered and not really focus on how the relationship didn't work, rather than focusing on how I can make a relationship like that in the future work again and work better, and learning from those small mistakes of not beating yourself up rather than knowing that's what you've been waiting for the whole time.
What is an important takeaway for readers when it comes to this book?
Yeah, so a lot of the takeaways have a lot to do with there's no such thing as a perfect plan. I think that the real magic happens once you create the chaos yourself. You learn from the missteps and you keep moving forward with purpose. Because really each chapter of this book, it's a piece of me. It's the highs, the lows, the ugly cries, the fist pumps. It's not a lecture. It's a conversation about the lessons I've learned the hard way. And I hope others can learn from the same thing.
Was there a mistake you made in your journey that you really learned from that you could share with us?
There's many, of course, Logan, but the book starts out with saying that the story that you tell yourself is the one that you create. So when I first started writing, there were many things that come through my head, and it was I either can't manage my mindset, I can't figure out my time management, and I also don't know how to hire people. So what this all comes down to is, are you working in a job, working in your career, or are you building legacy? And a lot of these lessons and a lot of these things moving forward have everything to do with progression of your life and progression of your network and progression of the people around you to formulate something that you got to create yourself rather than something that you fell in based on advice from people that may or may not have done it. Because ultimately, people who tell you that you can't do something, it's not because you can, it's because that they can't. And I think people often need those reminders front and center to say you're doing the right thing. You're just talking to the wrong people.
Absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about the second sale strategy and how it applies beyond real estate, even.
Yeah, sure. It's because this book, once and for all, really isn't something that you shelf. It's something that you always hope people can take a snippet from,
Mhm.
open it up at any time, and implement any of those lessons into their life. So part of answering your question is I hope people take away that aiming for the perfect thing isn't really what we're going for. We chase meaningful, we chase growth, and we're not afraid to do it all the wrong way. And that might be the only way that you're doing it right is when people are telling you that it is the wrong way.
Yeah. A lot of people have a fear of failure. How do you think they can get over that?
Well, the fear should be just not taking action. One of the chapters in the book is to do it right, and do it right now. And the concept is getting that momentum started, using some sort of force of saying, I'm just going to figure this out. Now, doing it right now doesn't mean doing it perfect. It means getting started and figuring out how to do it better along the way, because honestly, most of the people that you're trying to mimic are also trying to figure it out with you. And once you get to that growth level, you figure out everybody around you is trying to figure out the same thing, or they're trying to support you. And do it right now means that everybody is looking for you. Yeah, a lot of folks will spend a lot of their time employing advice or people around them to tell them the next step rather than telling people and being forthcoming of saying, here's how I did it, and thank you for the support, rather than I need some feedback that will tell me why not to do it again. It's a bigger pile principle, better people around you to formulate a great network of people that are not only supportive, but follow the concepts of giving grace and gratitude, which is ultimately important in any team or any culture, or any business internally that has an everlasting effect on their clients. So the second sale aspect is to absolutely always make sure every client knows that you're the person to ask for much of anything. Most of your clients should always be calling you and saying, who should I meet? Who do you have that does this X, Y, and Z thing? Or who can I be in front of to make you look better and enhance your life?
Great advice. I love the advice of just do it right now. So many people have great ideas, and having a great idea is a great start, but you do have to start. And just because you don't know the way to go doesn't mean that the path that you forge might be better than what other people are doing who supposedly know. Sometimes you can be inventive, you can be creative on your path to success, and you can figure out things along the way. I mean, just do it and figure out a way when you get stuck, right?
Absolutely, Logan. The concept behind what we're talking about is to study people who study people. The purpose of the conversation that we're having right now is that to figure out a next level or a higher level of anything, I have found out personally that somebody has already written about it, somebody already has a book about it, and you should always be aware that those people are dying for you to call and ask them how to do it.
Hmm.
A lot of these concepts come from not mimicking, but taking the advice at the level that you want it to from the people that do that one certain thing well that you want to take from them. I think there's a lot of people that become obsessed with the personality and the entire persona of somebody rather than the one thing that they respect they do very well. And so when you're studying people who study people, you can't understand that those two concepts are the same, that you're listening to somebody very intelligent, but because it comes verbally or because it comes from words, that interpretation needs to be different, and it doesn't, Somebody has done it and they're willing to teach you and they can't wait for you to ask.
Yeah. There's tons of information out there, tons of potential mentors out there, many people willing to give their time, their energy to help someone else. All you've got to do, like you said, is ask. Talk to us a little bit about your client for life philosophy and how it's changed your business.
So I feel very fortunate that I started a business in my hometown in Tucson, Arizona. So a lot of what I've done through my life is to make sure that you can take one person and find, like I said, that one thing that they're really good at and showing them that this isn't the end of your journey. This isn't not anything other than a very good start to something that makes you nervous and something that gets you excited about what happens next week, next year, or in the future. So a client for life philosophy comes down to they can always trust me. They always know I'm the person that's going to give it to them firm, clear, and direct. And ideally, if they need a job or they need a car or they need anything, that they can rely on my gratitude that I teach every day to anybody that's around me. There's a lot of face-to-face interactions that I have teaching people how to show empathy and not just have it around and have an aura about you, how to ask better questions because interested people are interesting people. And to ask better questions gets you a client that is always reliant on great information and not just information itself.
Absolutely. The relationship should not end when the deal is done. The relationship should continue no matter what field you're in because the client's always going to need more. They're going to need another car. They're going to need another house. They're going to need whatever it is that you're selling. And I think that's important. And it also makes the business enjoyable for you
It
that you
does.
have people who call you friend, who have a good relationship with you, who are leaving great reviews for you. And you know how important that is in this day and age.
Absolutely. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's next for you in your life. More books, public speaking, maybe, a different bold endeavor. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of big things that I've been doing with branding and marketing around the book. So most of my coaching will take somebody from a certain income level all the way up to the highest income level that they can think of. So typically when I'm coaching people, it's teaching them that mindset, teaching them how to manage their time, and then teaching them how to hire. But what comes next is I found out what's most influential to people is representing myself as that person who can show them the best example. So the next book, The Best Way to Do Everything Right, is all about time management. That's really figuring out how to mentally manage yourself because you already know how to control your mind in a sense to make a certain amount of money and you know what that takes. Now, the last series in the book is The Best Way to Do Everything. And a lot with my team is Lopez and Lopez Realtors at Long Realty in Tucson. And we are now coining the best way home, which is a part of all of our taglines. And it's all a master marketing and advertising plan because of our domain name, mlslisting.net, which I'm very, very fortunate to have. That me as a businessman, an entrepreneur, a speaker, and all these things, I have always needed to be able to have a way to put them all together because I very much enjoy public speaking. I want to make that something that is prevalent in my life. However, selling 150 to 200 homes a year limits myself as that person. But that's part of my growth and the purpose of writing this book to remind myself what's next for me and to be the example of the people around me to show that this stuff really does work. And so being the better example and exemplifying my personality through my writing and my persona throughout whoever's paying attention is really something that I think is very important to show the world right now.
Well, it's very clear your future is limitless, and it's very kind of you to share that message with others with this Best Ways series. The book we've been primarily focusing on today is called The Best Way to Do Everything Wrong. Turn a mistake into a masterpiece. It is a transformative book that challenges conventional wisdom and shows readers how to turn failures into stepping stones for success. With real-world insights and actionable advice, Tyler empowers readers to embrace risk, redefine success, and turn their biggest mistakes into their greatest opportunities. Wonderful book, highly recommended. Tyler, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much, Logan. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well and your time and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time until next time on Spotlight.